What's up, fellas? Morning, afternoon, depending on what part of the world that you're in. And, come hopefully you guys can hear me. Let's see. Uh-huh. So, you guys hear me? I hear it coming out of my monitors. I am good. I am good. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, cool. Good deal. No, I am doing good. I'm doing good. Who all we got in here with us here so far? I see. Let's see. Of course, Dave R's Guitars is here. Wade Courtney, Black XLC, Kyle Jackson, James 666, Sean Zimmerman, PRS Rocker, aka Jim's in here. Johnny White. Cool. What's up, fellas? As I am scrolling up, as you guys have been chatting amongst yourselves while waiting for me and me to deal with my ongoing OBS audio slash video slash live stream issues, you might be surprised to know that I actually like Strats. Believe it or not, I actually like Strats very much. Not much of it. I'm not a Tele guy. You're probably never gonna see me. You see me become a diehard Tele player, but I actually do like Strats. I think they're, tone wise, they're actually and triple single coil Strats, not just HSS things that could get away with shredding. So, I actually really do like Strats, and I don't, I've got a Squire vintage modified that I rarely play, but I was actually thinking here just recently, if I had a really nice Strat, and doesn't necessarily need to be a custom shop or even a American Standard or something like that, but if I had like a really nice Strat, like a deluxe Strat, I've always really liked the old deluxe players Strats, the ones with the gold hardware and the tortoiseshell pick guards and transparent finishes, and those I've always really liked those. If I had one of those, I would probably play it, and it would come in very handy. Let's see. Let me get caught up here. Wade Courtney says, "How's your Saturday, man?" I'm doing okay. Just I am. By the way, I am going to have to stop here, and that actually may be very in just a moment. I actually have my mother is, hey, thanks, Jim. Paid for my coffee this morning. I am going to have to go. My mother is bringing something by to drop off, so I am going to need to go down and let her in here any moment. So, James says, I like making Robert say 666 10 times a stream. Oh. Hang on a second. I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back. Chat amongst yourselves. All right, sorry about that. Let's see here. Sean Zimmerman says, "How you doing on your GoFundMe for breast implants? Almost there. Well, we're just starting. So, Jim has made the first contribution. It's not really for breast implants. Let's see here. Patrick Callies, Michael D, 8393. Welcome to you guys. Let's see. I'm talking. Oh, so you guys think there's a strat in the box? Well, I'll tell you what, and I'm not gonna open this thing up just yet. I will tell you, it is a piece of gear. And let's see if any of you can guess what it might be before I crack into it. Because I don't think any of you are going to get it. I'll even give you a little disclaimer. It's not a Strat. Box is nowhere near big enough. So, it's not a Strat or even a guitar. But it is a piece of gear. So, let's see. Oh, yeah. Patrick, Patrick, you heard Zoe going nuts when when she heard me. Anytime she hears the front door, anything going on at the front door, whether we open it, whether somebody knocks on it, rings the doorbell, she goes ballistic because that is that's her job, is to alert. So, if there's any danger, I guarantee you she wouldn't have the slightest idea what to do in that situation. But she does alert very, very well. So, let's see. Paper airplanes go flying everywhere. Spitballs. Hot girls dance on the teacher's desk. I love that video. To be a teenager again. Someone leave a thumbtack on Robert's chair. In the box is the head of a telly. Nope, it's not the head of a telly, I promise. Not the Brad Pitt. When I originally created the thumbnail last night, I had put a bunch of O's on the word box so it would read like, what's in the box? But it looked like it was going to read more like what's in the books, and so I thought otherwise. Patrick Callies just asked, how does everyone like the Fender direction with the Altered Universe line? If you must not listen to the Practical Guitars podcast, because I happen to know that Jim and David actually talked about that line of guitars here quite extensively in this past week's episode. I thought it was Parallel Universe, though, is what it was actually called. And they're all limited edition things. I've actually had some customers come to me at work that been interested in what's the offset one, the Meteor or something like that. I had somebody that was interested in that guitar, and they, for whatever reason, it's not available anymore. It's sold out, and there's not going to be any more. So, they did a limited production run on every one of them. I don't know if they're doing one model a month or if it's, they did them all at once this time. I've seen them in the past where they, they had a new line of guitars that, was a real special limited edition type of thing that they were just doing for, one time thing. Once they were gone, they were gone. They would release a new model every month. I think that was back in like 2011, 12 or something like that. Back when they did like the, what was the name of that telly? Catalina, I think is what it was. The Catalina telly. You know, and that one actually did well enough, was popular enough, they decided to do an import version of that. But I don't know. I'm just hey, my Colts traded up for a change in this draft. So far, they've traded back twice, but this time they just traded up to get Michigan State safety. Select a Michigan State safety. They're at number 109. They don't even say who it was. Okay. Let's see. Meteora. The Meteora. Is that what it's called? Headrest gig board. Nope, it's not a headrest gig board or a headrest looper. You know, loopers that have more than like 2 switches on them are, you know, already plenty confusing for me. You know, the headrush thing is like a full size, you know, I mean, the thing's bigger than my pedal board with like 20 switches on it. I don't know what that thing does. Nope, not a Helix either. Let's see. Is a Metal Base 79 is here with us. He says, is it a box full of Metal Zone pedals that you're going to cascade with all controls on max? No. Nope. No, and you know, the Metal Zone is awesome enough by itself. You only need one. So okay. So last year is a parallel universe. Now this year is the alternate universe. Okay. Interesting. Take a blue or seafoam green one. The red one's nice too, but I like the blue or seafoam green. Jim, I got a feeling we are going to be getting into all kinds of trouble at GearFest this year. We would likely become the least popular personalities at the entire place if we, you know, linked like 20 Metal Zones together. Although, part of me kind of wants to do it anyway, just because everybody would have to watch that video. Roger Broach. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. Says wireless guitar system. Are you asking about my suggestions? Yeah. Are you asking about my suggestions for a wireless guitar system? I'm not, or whether I like them or I don't. I don't understand your question. We will tick a whole lot of people off. Oh, he's asking if that's what's in the box. No, it's not. It is not a wireless guitar system. It is not a wireless. I do already have a Line 6 G10 that I use for around here occasionally, and even then I haven't used it that much lately, but I do like it. I haven't personally tried it out live, though. I'm sure it would probably work out just fine. A lot of people do. The one thing that they did not get right on the G10 was that it was a USB powered thing, which obviously is not compatible at all with 99.999% of pedal boards out there. So they screwed that up, but they did fix it on the G10S that just recently came out. So Anybody seen the Avengers movie yet? If you have, don't spoil it for me because I'm not going to get to go see it till next weekend. Yeah. Yep, I did hear a little bit about that. Robert needs a Lawrence Petros 87 and Cigaro. I have no idea what that is. Lawrence Petros. Is that a guitar company? Huh. Lawrence Petros. Design 87. Comes up. Oh, it's a pedal. One pedal that can do it all, somebody on YouTube says. From break up to brutal high gain, 87 stage musical all the way through. Huh. And it looks like there's even a mini version of it. A mini four knob and a full size 6 knob with a switch. Or toggle switch of some kind. And they have a 74, an 87. Huh. Interesting. I will have to check that out. Are they expensive? No credits. Well, this is supposed to be the end of the modern era of the MCU as we know it. So I guess it would make sense they didn't do an end scene. Oh well. Yep. No spoilers. No spoilers. Hmm. Jimmy Bowman, Pyramid 7. Welcome to both of you. Let's see here. He was playing through the metal zone. Look, AJ Ricchetti. AJ Ricchetti. I have there's a viewer that watches a lot of my videos by that last name. Is it one of the same guy? Pyramid 7 says, I have passive speakers, but no amp. Should I buy an amp or powered monitors? Well, yeah, I mean, when you're talking PA gear, which I assume is what you are what you're wanting to, that's what this is for, as opposed to a guitar rig. Passive speakers, financially, you're probably going to save a few bucks by just by buying by just getting power amp, or however many power amps that you need. But with when you go buying racks, when you go buying power amps, you got to have a rack for it. You're probably going to want a power conditioner. Probably an EQ or a crossover is probably going to be necessary. I don't know what kind of speakers you have. So there are other things to consider, but you also probably would need a lot of those things for an active system as well. Active, most people nowadays seem to be going with active PA systems just because it's a lot less gear to lug around. The high powered PA speakers are getting lighter and lighter all the time. So it's not like lugging around. They're not 60 or 80 pounds a piece anymore, and they're 1,000, 2,000 watts depending on which ones you go with. But there is still the old school contingent out there that thinks that the old passive systems with power amps sound better. So it's up to you, and I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to go. But one of them's going to be a lot more, is probably going to be a lot more work up front. The other one's going to be a lot more work in the long run. It just depends on what you're willing to commit to in that instance, I guess. So. Oh, Dave R's Guitar says, I'm happy to report I finally got my Laney IRT Studio. Really good amp for YouTube content creators and for live streaming. Yep, I've, that one's had my attention as well. So I will be expecting a video from you, Dave, very, very soon, hopefully. PRS Rocker says, I'm buying at Relic Metal Zone today. I posted it in the group. I figured for $30, why not? If you don't know what he is referring to, in the Practical Guitarist actually host their own, and that reminds me, I need to bring this up as well. But the Practical Guitarist actually host their own Facebook group as well, and Jim and David, of course, administrate that particular group, and they post stuff in there all the time. The other day, Jim posted a picture of it was he's calling it Relic, which I think is hilarious. It's just it's an old beat up metal zone is what it is. But he was somebody's selling it for $30. He was asking if it was a good price on it, and yeah, it's absolutely a good price on it. And I told him those things sell for about $30-$40 pretty much all day long on the used market. So he is saying that he's going to go buy himself a Metal Zone today, and to which I say, attaboy, Jim. Jimmy Bowman, I'm assuming you're talking about AJ Riccati. Oh, cool. He's I've never met him in person, unfortunately, but he's actually been pretty quiet, with my videos lately. Usually he comments, watches and comments just about every one, but so I'm wondering if YouTube has not forced me out of his regular feed on his YouTube alerts. So, yep. Jim, when you buy it, when you buy that Metal Zone though, make sure, run it both ways, run it into the front of the amp, see what you think, and then run it into the run it into the effects loop, use it as a preamp, and then you and I can have all kinds of Metal Zone geek out moments together. Since you guys know that I absolutely love Metal Zone. Power monitors, he says. Using a Behringer 404 HD to record, and Reaper. Okay. So going back to the PA thing that we were talking about a couple of minutes ago. Okay, so you got a 404 HD, which is an interface, and Reaper. Okay, but now we're talking, but previously his question says I have passive speakers but no amp. Should I buy an amp or powered monitors? I see what he's asking. Okay, this is not a recording question, or this is not a live sound question. This is a recording question. For studio, you're going to need monitors anyway. So, you're going to need them for mixing, you're going to need them for monitoring, as their name implies. I strongly recommend, if you've got the money for them, buy the Kali Audio LP6s. That's what I have, and for $150, they sound, the clarity out of them is unbelievable, absolutely outstanding. They $150 monitors, and they sound like you should have paid about $500 for them. They just came out last year. There are a bunch of Kali Audio just started last year. As a matter of fact, they're a bunch of guys that jump ship from JBL, I believe. So they've got experience in building really, really good speakers. So my mistake for misunderstanding your question the first time around, but now it's starting to make sense. So if between buying an amp and buying studio monitors, there's certainly going to be a need for both, but the immediate need, I would, especially if you're using Reaper. You can download some free, some free amp plugins, like the what's the one that Glenn Fricker was plugging the other day, or not the other day, but a few weeks ago. There's a free amp sim that it's a really, really good high gain amplifier. It'll come to me. But you can download that as well. There's free, there's free cab simulators, cab plugins out there as well. So you can cover the amp, the amp territory with the plugins. At least for now. And those plugins actually do sound pretty good. But the immediate need for me would definitely be studio monitors. So I would definitely get the studio monitors first, and then of course you can mic up amps and stuff all kinds of all day long down the road. Patrick Calley says, Robert, I have the headrest pedal board, rather large with expression pedal. The gig board is smaller with same sounds, not too complicated, but cool amp models. Yep, they came out. I remember when they came out with the gig board last fall, and it was basically their answer to the Line 6 HXFX, which is their smaller version of the Helix. So I think Jim actually has an HXFX, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Acoustic audio titanium. Pyramid. I don't know what that's referring to. Budget alto speakers sound fine or super. Okay, now we're still talking PA speakers. Let's see. So I guess now whether we're talking PA or we're talking studio rigs, hopefully now we've answered both questions. Michael D says he's picking up a Gibson Nighthawk from GC tomorrow. Awesome. Happy New Guitar Day. Okay, which one was the only alternate universe that went to a Mexican version? I'm seeing talk that Jim Root did. Jim Root tried one out and apparently liked it. So who knows? Cali Audio LP6s is the model number of that of those studio monitors. That's, like I said, that's actually the pair that I have, and matter of fact, you might even still be able to see the boxes with all the empty packing material and crap sitting on the floor behind me. Yeah, trust me, get the Calis. There's and that for that price, you're getting 6.5-inch monitors for $150. I mean, anything else in that price range, you're going to be getting 5-inch monitors at best. So, Brian Cote has joined the fun. How are you, Brian? Let's see. Oh, Jim says I want that metal zone to sound like a box of bees thrown from the top of a building. You can certainly dial those tones in as well. Let's see. Found out my neighbor builds and restores amplifiers, custom stuff, guitar restoration. Cool. Definitely a good neighbor to have if you're somebody like us. Well, swept me off my feet even more than my girlfriend. Yep. Jim, you got a pair of Calis? I almost went with the JBL 3. Actually, I was looking at the 306s. I almost went that route just because there was a back order problem with the Calis, and I didn't know how much longer I could wait on a pair of studio monitors. But I actually talked to the rep at Cali Audio, and he said it's this production got backed up, but we're back on track, and we're going to be shipping them again here this week. So I said okay, and I ordered my Calis, and sure enough, they actually came. I didn't even have to wait for them. They basically they showed up at the warehouse I was ordering from, and turned around and shipped them right back out to me. So Let's see. DJ Yazzie F has come on board with us here this afternoon. How are you? Yamaha HS5 monitors are cool. Those are very, very popular. Pyramid 7 says I've got all the software you can imagine. I've got quite a bit as well, and I don't know how to use half of them. So, that's right. Ignite Amps Emissary. The Ignite Amps Emissary is the one that Glenn Fricker likes. Black Rooster Audio Cypress TT15 Orange Tiny Terraclone. I wasn't aware of that one. I'll have to check it out. Metal Strummer 2004. How are you? Okay. I am trying to get caught up in the chat here. Let's see. Dave R's Guitars says best pedals ever. LPD 80, LPD 87, Hot Rodded Plexi, and Jose Arredondo Mata JCM 800 in a box. The Cigarro is a boost. Okay, so you are big on the LPD pedals. Or Lawrence Petros design. Okay, I'll have to check them out. Are they expensive? Metal Drummer 2004 says, have you checked out my backing track? He actually sent me a link last week or the week before about a track that he recorded and wanted me to use it in a video. So I did listen to it. I do like it. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I had told him that I would try and find a use for it in a video someplace, and I will. But it's unfortunately it's not going to be right away. So. Pyramid 7 says, I'm ordering right now. Cool. Robert Ainsworth says, hamburger or tacos? I got to go with burgers. Had you said burgers or burritos, on the other hand, then I would have had a little bit tougher time. But, and I love tacos. I love tacos as much as the next guy, but, when it comes to, Tex-Mex, I generally order a burrito nowadays more often than I do tacos. Robert Dave's Our Guitar says, I don't do many videos as I hate editing, but I do stream. Yeah, send me a link. I live right by the Musician's Friend warehouse. They used to have a store there, amazing scratch and dent deals, and they closed it. Yep. Yeah, there's not much of they don't do a whole lot of that anymore. I think they found that they're able to move that stuff faster. With the scratch and dent and the open box stuff, they're actually able to move that stuff a lot faster. By listing it on the website. So, as opposed to relying on the, just the local traffic is why they did that. Oh, he's already got about 9 hours of streams. Okay, cool. DJ Band, welcome to you. He says, hi, Robert. Have you played an Ibanez Iron Label guitar? As EMG's ebony fretboard killer switch, as I'm assuming that means a kill switch. I've played a few of the Iron Labels, though not recently. I like them. I like them quite a bit. They're, basically, for as near as I can tell, they're like, they're a step down from the premium series, and or right alongside of it, a different series. But the Ibanez premium series are basically prestige series that are not made in Japan. They're basically prestige series made in Indonesia, and that Ibanez factory in Indonesia, those dudes know how to build guitars. I've had my Xiphos now for probably close to 10 years, and that came out of that factory, and that thing is a phenomenal guitar. So, but I actually prefer my Ibanez's without EMGs. So, but I have played several of the Iron Labels. There's actually a couple of them right now that one or two. I think there's a fan fret model, multi-scale that or two now that I really like and would really like to try out. So hopefully I'll get my hands on one of these. I'm gonna buy a new guitar here later this year. It might be one of those, but at the moment right now I'm leaning Schecter. So I could very well be landing a new Schecter before I get a new Ibanez. Robert Ainsworth says, cat or dog? Dog, no question. Not much of a cat person. My wife is a cat person, and I converted her. So, J-Dog is with us. Says, have you played a katana? And if so, do you like it? Yeah, I mean, I've played the katanas. The katanas are really, really cool amps. There's kind of an interesting story behind them because, prior to that, Boss and Roland, under the Roland brand had the, they had the Cube series amps, which I think are really good. And I have a Cube 40 that I've had for a long time. But they didn't really have an amp, like that under the Boss name. So they came out with the katanas strictly to compete with the Line 6 Spiders and the PV Vipers and the Fender Mustangs and that just so that they had something in that market. And then all of a sudden they took off on them, and next thing you know, they're the best-selling amps in that entire. They're the best-selling amps on the market, in that particular genre, if you will. So they had all kinds of production problems. They're not problems, but they were back ordered when they first came out. They were back ordered forever because Boss they were just putting out an amp to be able to compete with that other stuff. They were not expecting it to do anywhere near as well as it did, and like I said, all of a sudden they took off, and now they're the best-selling amp in that particular market. So they are, unlike the other, they're not really a modeling amp like the other amps that they're competing against. So like with the Line 6, you can dial in a Marshall Plexi or a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, whatever it is. The katana's not really set up like that, though it does have those tones in it. They're just not modeled after a specific kind of amplifier. But the other thing that the katanas do that those other modeling amps really, really suck at is take pedals. And not just in an effects loop or something like that, but they can actually take pedals through the front end and sound really, really good. So, yeah, if I were going to buy one of those amps, there's no question it would be a katana. So, DJ Band said, I just got the Iron Label for $69 from Guitar Center. I may change the pickups. I haven't played EMGs in years. How did you get an Iron Label guitar for $69? And I'd be curious to know which model you got for $69. J-Dog says, to be honest, I'm not in love with it. I just like single channel amps, but as far as modeling goes, I think Boss did the best on the market. Yep, I agree. Without getting into the Helixes and the Axe-Fx's and the Kempers and, that stuff. But John Gilly is with us. Morning to you. And I say good morning because he said, morning, Robert, guys and gals. So I'm assuming that you were somewhere west of me, because it's about 1 o'clock here right now. Let's see. Mike Rohde, thoughts on Hughes and Kettner amps? Tried the Two-Meister 36 and loved it. Had 3 shoot creps and lost faith. I'm trying to decipher what that 3 shoot craps. I'm assuming that means 3 of them died on you. I'm actually a big fan of the Tube Meisters. Are okay. They're not my favorites, though. They are, they're good amps. They're just, they kind of, for me, what I like, they kind of seem to be almost there, but not quite. The Grandmeister, on the other hand, is fantastic, and I have wanted a Grandmeister 36 or the newer Grandmeister 40. I've wanted one of those for a long time now. I've never gotten around to buying one, but I really like those amps. Now they got the new Black Spirit solid state thing. That's actually seems to be pretty cool as well. I've seen a few demos of that. Fluff actually just did a new demo on that this week, I think, and it sounded really good. So yeah, no, I like using Kettner. One of the best sounding amps that I've ever played actually was a Triamp. Triamp, I can't remember if it was a 2 or a 3. I think it was a 2. It was before the 3 was out, but which is Alex Lifeson's amp. That was one of the best sounding amps I've ever played, but those things are expensive. That one used, I remember that one used, and this was 10-15 years ago, was $2,500. I think new at the time they sold for like $4,000. Now they're probably close to $5,000, I had to guess. Got an Electra X2 RD last night on Bayville. I haven't seen one of those in a while. The Katana does pedals well, J-Dog says, or he asks rather. I have not tried, but I was weary to try because the other digital amps do not do pedals well at all. Yeah, no, that's actually one of the big attractions to the Katanas. It actually does take pedals very well. So I would not be leery of that at all. Okay. DJ Band says, and when I asked what iron label he got for $69, he says FRIX6 FEAH. Let's see what that is. Telly model. Wow. How'd you get that for $69? I'm curious. That's a good deal. That's a steal, actually. Egnator tweakers are cool. Obviously, someone mislisted it. If they either $69, either you took advantage. If it was $750 and you got it for $69, assuming that wasn't a typo earlier and you meant to type $699, that's a little bit more believable. But if you got it for $69, that means that, and it was $750, that means that they typoed something and you took advantage of them, which I personally don't think is very cool. But I don't, all my years working at GC, there's plenty of guitars that we'd had hanging on the wall for a while and we wanted to see gone, but there was nothing that we, were willing to just give away. So, Patrick Callie says, sorry to switch topics on you, but how is your recording studio work going? Yeah, it's slowly but surely coming along. And matter of fact, I meant to post a new updated video in that series coming up. However, right now the thing that I'm struggling with is recording in OBS. And, because I want to be able to capture my screen, capture my computer screen and record that as I'm speaking and as I'm playing. But the problem is it's only capturing the microphone, and it's all the the plugins and stuff that I'm using in Pro Tools and Studio One. Unfortunately, have not they won't. It's not recording in OBS for some reason. I can't figure out why. So Um, yeah, I don't know. Actually, Jim and I are supposed to uh, get on a chat here, so he can figure out how to how I can unscrew that up. So and point me in the right direction. So because I do have a video about that I do want to get going. So I haven't forgotten about it, but be patient. So. Unfortunately, OBS is a little bit more complicated than I anticipated it being as well. So, J-Dog says, what's in the box? Or did you already show that? No, I did not show that yet. You guys quit guessing, and nobody has gotten it right. I kind of knew that was going to be the case. Let's see. All right, you guys want to see what's in the box? Let's check out what's in the box. What's in the box? I just need to get my box cutter out. By the way, this is going to be like the most disappointing unveiling of gear that you guys have ever seen. J-Dog says, I think it's a mixer. No, it's not a mixer, actually. Where's my stupid knife? Let me use the scissors. Nope, not a mixer. Nope, not candy. And it's not a Big Muff. Nope, not Sweetwater. Robert Ainsworth says, thanks you, up at the top chat, says, thanks for taking time out of your day to entertain us. You rock. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Cheap ass $3 scissors I bought for Christmas. Nope, not from Sweetwater. This one actually came from the fine folks at Guitar Center. Whoa. It's a DI box. This is an Art Accessories Professional Active Direct box. With a free 9-volt battery from a brand I've never heard of. Let's see here. User's Manual. X Direct Art Accessories. Alright, okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Now I bought this. Honestly, I was expecting it to be a little bit bigger than this, but that's that's the second time this week that this has happened to me, because earlier this week I got to demo the new Boss tube amp expander that is shipping here in the next few weeks, finally, and that thing is awesome. But that thing I expected to be about probably about that size, not very big. But as it turns out, the thing's about that big. It was a much bigger, much larger unit than I expected. This one I was expecting to be a little bit larger than this, and it's about the size of the palm of my hand. So it's really nothing all that exciting. This is a direct box with a 20 dB attenuator. My dog's going nuts. And ground lift and a phase inverter. So, Nothing too terribly exciting, but it is something that I wanted to have laying around to boost signal for recording purposes, which is why I bought it. So it is going to live here on my desk, and maybe occasionally we'll go back into the dungeon and record some stuff directly into my Tascam 24 as opposed to into a DAW. So, yeah. Okay. Michael guessed it. Let's see. He guessed it was an interface. Yeah, so yeah. That's what I was thinking. Probably a Focusrite or something. Man, I wish the sound guy would have read his DI box manual, had me patted, and kept asking why he was getting nothing from me. Thought it would be bigger. That's what she said. That's from Power of Belief. Yep. So I want to see Boss Waza amp on the channel. What, the tube expander or the Waza amp itself? Because those Waza amps are expensive. Those things are like $2,500. And I would love to have one of those on the channel, but I would also love to have $2,500. So, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff I would love to have on my channel, but unfortunately, when you are a YouTube channel that is fully funded, fully self-funded, it's not easy to get get whatever you want. Unfortunately, I don't have and I wish that I were as big as Ryan Bruce and some of those other guys, because he's got amps showing up on his doorstep from companies just about every week. And I know he doesn't get he doesn't keep them all, but he does get paid to demo them. So which I have no problem with. But I have been fortunate enough to have some of the smaller companies like Parks Custom Pedals and Forever Pick and Picker's Grip and Panama Guitars for a stretch. Anyway, to send me some of their stuff to demo. So that's fun stuff too. So let's see, for a thumb screw, that's some. Man, they got that thing on there tight. There we go. Scissors, also screwdrivers. So, yeah, I am hoping to be able to use this in recording applications as well as any other thing that we might need a DI box for. DI boxes are always handy to have around, and I've always liked the art accessories, applied research technology stuff, if you will. And it's affordable and reliable and good quality stuff. So it was a good choice for a DI box, in my opinion. Robert Ainsworth lobbying for my channel. Thank you, sir. Don't forget you do a great job informing us. Someday Ramos will show up at your doorstep also. Thank you, Patrick. I don't know who Ramos is. But that'd be pretty cool, whoever he is. Yeah, Bam Mozzie has joined the fray. How are you? Yes, Jim did buy the coffee this morning. Yeah, I sometimes I'll be watching. This is the. I'm gonna let you guys into a little bit of my life as a small guitar channel, as a small YouTuber in the guitar community. I want, I really, really, really want my, more than just about anything. I want my channel to be, to be successful, and I want it to be, to grow and be as popular as some of the other names that you see out there. Like Pete Thorns and the Pete Thorns and the Fluffs and and those guys. I really, really enjoy their videos, and I've, they've been pretty big inspirations for me. But I'll sit there and I'll watch their live streams, and Pete. People throw money at those guys left and right, and I'm just like, man, I see why you guys do a live stream once a week, because it's financially it's lucrative for them, I would imagine. But sometimes I'm like, man, and I've got fortunately I have a small loyal contingency of viewers that all like to come and and watch my videos every week. So, and I'm very grateful for all of you. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining or I'm, I guess I am a bit jealous, but, I'm working at it. We'll get there one day. Let's see. You never know when you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, you know what? There is some truth to that as well, because earlier, let's see, what was it? Last Sunday, I think it was. I went, the last Sunday, the video to, the DS1, it was a DS1 video. The DS1 is a preamp. The big buzz about that here lately, and the big buzz lately, I should say, on the internet regarding pedals is here over the last year or so. Everybody has discovered running a Metal Zone into the return port of the effects loop. So I decided to do a video trying it with the DS1, with the oldest distortion pedal on the planet, basically. And all of a sudden, that people took off, or that video took off for some reason, which really surprised me. Really surprised me. I was, it got 3, 4, 500 views. 3, 4, 500 views or so in the the first day or so, which is here lately, that's been pretty average. This is about what I expected. And, I went and looked at it again here a week later. There's a few more comments on it a day or two later. And, for whatever reason, I went and looked at it, and all of a sudden I had 2,500 views, a couple of days later. So I was shocked. And, it's generated a couple thousand more since then. So it means, by YouTube standards, that's small potatoes. But, compared to the, most of my other videos that I have, compared to most of my other videos that have gone up here lately, that's quite a bit. So, yeah, you never know, when something like that's going to take off. So, Jen, thank you very, very much for your support. Bandit 112, man, why do I have an itch for a PV Bandit here lately? I've never liked those amps at all. The old ones, the old ones are the ones I guess that everybody's going nuts over for pedal platforms, but they still make them. They're only like $400. They're like 80 watts. It's a 112 combo with 80 watts in it for some reason. Obviously designed to be plenty of headroom for like a small club, but I don't know. I bought and sold a ton of those things when I was at Guitar Center. And for the longest time, we couldn't give them away. We had to sell them off for like $50, and then all of a sudden, everybody's the pedal community discovered them, and apparently now they're freaking, I don't know. They're uber popular. Everybody's talking about them, and like I said, they're still being made. So part of me is curious if I shouldn't buy one just for kicks. I don't know what I would do with it, but I don't know that's exactly the best amp to use for for pedal demos. But stranger things have happened, I guess. Oh yeah, Bam Ozzy says trouble with live streams is that if it's a chat, you need to be there. If it has information, tutorial, discussion, etc., they have value to some if they miss the live event. So yeah, sometimes I try to add some of that stuff in there, though I didn't really have much of a topic to talk about today, other than a cardboard box. More specifically the contents of said cardboard box, but. Yeah, I don't know. So I am still trying to master this live stream thing here, to be honest. So yeah, and I usually do share the stream on Facebook and both my Facebook pages and my Twitter account, but I was in a hurry and had a few other things going and didn't. I actually forgot about it today, so that's okay. That's okay. YouTube will push it for for the next day or so. Maybe some people catch the rerun. Anyway, one thing I do want to bring up. I mentioned earlier that Jim and David, my good friends at the Practical Guitars podcast, a podcast that you, by the way, should absolutely check out because they're a lot of fun to listen to. I listen to them every week. And part of what they do is they actually host their own Facebook group. And I have been thinking about starting a Facebook group centered around my channel. And so I've asked my personal friends, and I know several people would be on board, but and they have already said so. So I do have people to add in there. However, I am curious how many of you viewers would actually be interested in joining said Facebook group. And to be clear, this would not be a Facebook group, that would be focused specifically on my channel. This is not me trying to make myself the center of attention. This is me trying to build a community. So what this would be about, it'd be a guitar group basically, guitar and a gear group. So with me as the moderator, so to speak, and yeah, so okay, I know Jim's in. Jim, you already told me. Robert Ainsworth's in, so cool. Well, I am. That's I don't know that I'm gonna have time to get to it today, but that is something that I do want to get started here probably this weekend. So, yeah. So cool. Having a regular live show, also making sure you schedule so people can add a reminder really helps too. Yeah, and I got to get better at that. I did schedule it, but granted it was middle of the night last night when I did schedule it, so which isn't a whole lot of notice. I do need to get better at that. So, pardon me. There's a name up here in Cyrillic that in English looks. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but it says, "Hi, today I have made some new videos." Interesting. Huh. Okay. All right, cool. Well, I'll tell you what. Here in the next week or so, I'm sure I'll put up a video about it, and we'll post the link to the Facebook group. in the description of that link. So give us all a new place to hang out. Yeah. So I think the only restriction that I would have to put on that is, I don't know that I would have a problem with anybody else sharing their Facebook videos, or their YouTube videos in there as well, as long as that's not the only thing that they're doing. So I guess I have to admit that there's a couple of groups out there that I'm guilty of that in, but I don't know. I at least do it in the groups where that's allowed. So cool. Well, I will work on putting that together and, search for it on Facebook here soon. Like I said, I'll do a video about it with post the link so everybody can find it. So, birthdays and Michael D says I only use Facebook for birthdays and guitar communities, and anymore that's about all I use it for. I use Messenger to communicate with some people. I have some friends and family. That's how they know how to get a hold of me. But well, I post my videos in your group, Jim, because you guys support my channel and I support your podcast, and oftentimes some of my videos have spawned topics on your show and vice versa. So, which is obviously I'm hoping to be able to create more of that. J-Dog says, do you use Elixir strings? I have since 2017. I will never go back. I pretty much always used them on acoustic. I don't remember a time, wow, God, on acoustic guitar, and I've never been much of an acoustic player, but I don't know that I remember a time when I haven't used Elixirs on an acoustic. I've always been a big fan of the Elixir Polywebs on acoustic guitars. I just recently, like within the last month or so, started trying their electric guitar strings. I've always shied away from them because I've always been a diehard Ernie Ball guy, and every time I go try something else, I always wind up going back to Ernie Balls. And I love Slinkies. And Jim is going to disagree with me on this, but I love Slinkies. However, when you own 40 guitars, some of them get played more than others. And the room that they're all in, for some reason, that room is in this house. I don't know why. This house isn't that old, but for some reason, that room is, the hottest and the most humid. And guitar strings in that environment, they last okay. But guitars that don't get played very often, sometimes a regular set of Slinkies will just about go to waste. So I have decided to start putting elixirs on some of those guitars to see if I get a little more life out of them. And I've even put a set of polywebs on one of my main guitars, and I really like them. I like them quite a bit. I've always liked the way they feel. We'll see how I feel after their we'll see how I feel after after they've been on there for a while, because I know the coating on there will begin to kind of shred and fray and and flake off, and that's kind of annoying. But time will tell. But so far, I kind of like them. Bam Ozzy says people like Phil McKnight, Pete Thorne, etc. have a regular time, so people get used to being online to catch the show. Yeah, and that's what I'm actually striving for as well. Right, I've been doing these live streams on Sundays for a while, but the problem with doing them on Sunday is that's also my wife's day off, and part of one thing that I wanted to do was get away from anything YouTube related at all on Sundays, because I want to be able to spend time with her, and not be sitting here stuck at this computer desk, on really the only day off that we have together. So, uh, so the video that I normally upload on Saturdays, I've decided to start scheduling those to go live on Sundays instead. So you guys can still check out a video on the weekends from me, and then Saturdays while I'm sitting here editing video anyway. I'll stop. I can stop for an hour especially when she's not here, and I can talk loud and crack some dirty jokes and make an idiot of myself. I think it's just better for everybody. It allows me to be a lot more, a little more loose and laid back and interactive with you guys, and because the end run here is obviously to provide, you guys are coming here to hang out with me for an hour and a half or so on the weekend. So, the ultimate goal is to be able to make sure that your time is not wasted. So, Ernie ball sacks are not the string for me. Oh, boy. I love Ernie balls. I love Slinkies. Slinky hybrids are my favorites. Paradise. I put a. Was that this week? I think I put a set of Paradigms on one of my guitars this week. I don't understand. The Paradigms are. I get what they are. They're Ernie Ball's answer to the NYXLs, but because they don't break. But I never break even the regular Slinkies. So, I got a couple of free sets from Ernie Ball, which is I've got them. I might as well use them, but I don't know that I'm ever going to be a Paradigm player. Michael D says I like 9 to 46 for Floyd Roses, 10 to 52 for standard and drop D, 11 to 49 for E flat, and 12 to 54 for tunings lower than E flat. Man, those are freaking power lines. I play 9 to 42 or 9 to 46 on just about everything. Nowadays, I was 9 to 46 on just about everything, and then if I drop C or lower, then I would go to 10s. But I do not like heavy strings. Here lately, I've actually gone back to 9 to 42s on most everything, except for my Gibsons, which I'm still playing. The Gibson scale anyway, 24 3/4 inch scale, and I'm still going 10 to 9 to 46. But so running yards. Dave Palmer says there are more guitar-related YouTubers I follow that go live on Sundays and Saturdays. Yeah, and I know Friday nights and Sunday afternoons seem to be the popular times for for those guys to go live, and there's some theory, some theory behind that if you're going live and everybody else is, I hate to be the guy that's gonna try to swipe somebody else's audience from them, during their live stream. But at the same time, that's also the time that everybody's, that viewers are online watching YouTube. So I get why they do that. And but the thing is I'm not going to pull audience away from Pete Thorne and some of those other guys, Phil McKnight, and I think Tone King. I think I think he goes live either Friday night or Saturday night. I think he does Friday night. So. Sean Pierce Johnson, I think, has been going live on Thursday nights. So he was competing against the Avengers release this week. But he always goes live at like 8 or 9 o'clock Pacific time, which is right when I'm going to bed. So unfortunately, I'm not able to watch him, which is too bad. I really like his channel. He's got some good content, and He's really, really knowledgeable and a really good guitar player too. I think. He's got a lot of pedal knowledge, and he's a guy. He just wants to, wants to be able to, put up good content, and for people to, for him and other people to enjoy. I don't know. As long as he's been on YouTube, I think he's only got like 4,000 subscribers. I can't for the life of me figure out why he doesn't have 200,000. So he's been on YouTube for like 10 years too. So, but you guys ought to go check him out if you're not familiar with him. He's a good dude. Let's see, paradigms are now. I miss view as well because the UK time zone isn't conducive to US live shows. Yeah, that I can see. And unfortunately, I don't have a way to, I wish I had. I wish that there was a perfect time that everybody in the U.S. from Hawaii all the way over to the U.K. I wish there was a perfect time that there would be to go live, but unfortunately, there just isn't. Even with me being virtually right in the middle of all of that, so it's tough. And I actually, a lot of my audience too. I have a fair amount of audience that's over in the U.K. and and I have some also down under, down in Australia, and also a fair amount in South America, various places. But, all those different places of the world, man, it's hard. There's just, it's hard to please everybody. Hard to please everybody with times, and hard to please everybody with content. I had some yahoo this morning that had to tell me that on my worst amps list, my video worst guitar amps ever. He said that he had, he's been buying and selling gear for 35 years, and that that maybe I should play guitar for another 25 years before I share my opinion, because I don't know what I'm talking about. That's unrelated, but trolls. Yes, the new Ultra and Burley Slinkies Ernie Ball came out with. Those are more hybrid sets, is what they are. I think one of them's a hybrid set between the regular Slinkies and the Power Slinkies, and then another one's, I can't remember. They're a little bit they were a little heavier than I play, but it's good to see them coming out with some more hybrid sets like that though. We sold out of those things. We didn't order enough of them when they first came out. We sold out of them immediately, and it's going to be. Unfortunately, their production is very good, but when the demand for something new like that comes out, it's tough to keep up at first. So, hey, Michael Collins is with us. Welcome, Michael. Okay, who is this dude that keeps talking about crushing stuff with his dad's hydraulic press? Doesn't make sense to me. Why some have a massive following whilst others don't. Yeah, YouTube's a weird thing, and it's constantly changing, and they're constantly making changes or improvements to the algorithm that this dude. What do you like to do in your free time? Okay, if you're here and you don't know the answer to that. Yeah. Where was I? Yeah, with they're always making changes to the algorithm and stuff like that. I mean, it's really, really tough to keep up sometimes. Um, so and other once you're big and established, it's a lot easier. But when you're not, you're still trying to get to that point. Um, it's a lot of work anyway. But I gotta admit, it can get frustrating at times. So. Uh, PRS Rocker says, I'm always shocked to see McKnight get more people regularly live than Pete Thorne and people like that. Not that Phil's a bad guy, but he's not a pro level. You never know what the magic factor is. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not going to say what group that I saw this in this week, but, there's a certain pedal group that apparently they don't like Philip McKnight because the brand that hosts that that particular group, I don't know, I guess Phil had said some negative things about that particular company. I don't know what that whole situation was, but they don't like Philip McKnight. I was surprised to see that. I'm not familiar with the situation. When I asked about it, I'm not familiar with the situation that they explained to me, but I was surprised. I mean, Phil's always seemed like a pretty stand-up guy to me. Who knows? It might be Kramer time. As in Seinfeld? So, maybe because Phil is more informative in his content and relatable to amateur player, while Pete is more professional, reviews gear most can or won't buy. Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said. Pete Thorne's probably not gonna review too many $80 and $100 pedals. That is true, but but as there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, Pete's he's a professional musician. That's what he does for a living, and he's a guy that needs the high dollar stuff. So, and quite honestly, he's a talented enough player that he can demo it properly. So, whereas Phil's kind of Phil's like me. He used to own his own guitar shop, I think, or at least run a guitar shop. I think he owned it. But yeah, beyond that, he's kind of like me. I think he's just he's a guy that loves guitar gear. So, and he is very knowledgeable. He is very knowledgeable. He's got a lot of experience. So, okay, Mr. Cyrillic dude. Experiment. Okay. This dude keeps talking about all the videos that he's made with his dad's hydraulic press, and it turns out he's not kidding. However, okay, that might be part of the problem here. Alrighty. Regardless, put user in timeout. This is not a hydraulic press channel. Stevie T is kind of cool. I like Stevie T. He's you'll never see him admit it, but I think he's YouTube's been a struggle for him recently as well. And if you didn't see, he did a video a while back, making fun of a poor guy with a disability, and I certainly don't want to rehash that, but he's kind of gone back to that well a few times because, like it or not, those controversial topics, tend to draw views. And in the interim, when it's okay to put up a video like that again, just to, to give your channel a bump. But I think from time to time. But when you're getting to the point that you're making fun of other people to do it, and I'm not talking about Nick Jonas' terrible guitar solo at the Grammys or whatever that was. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about Slash's guitar going out of tune. When he was playing Crazy Train at the VH1 Music Awards, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about making fun of a guy, that's might not be the might quite frankly be a terrible guitar player that somebody discovered on YouTube and put him on blast. That ain't cool. So I don't particularly care for that, for when he's doing that kind of stuff. But beyond that, I actually really like Stevie T's content. I like his channel quite a bit. I think I like him, and he's admittedly kind of a weird guy that doesn't get out much. Most of his friends seem to be most of his friends seem to be other YouTubers that I'm aware of anyway. He's and I kind of get that side of him, believe it or not. So, kind of lives out in the middle of Nowheresville in Canada. So, I get, like I said, I get that side of him. So, but he is a very, very talented guitar player, very talented guitar player. So, and he does have a real goofy, quirky, funny personality. So I like Stevie T. I just wish he'd get away from the guitar player bashing stuff. So I bashed Gear, and I admittedly I bashed my share of Gear over the years, but I won't. One line I will not cross is making fun of another guitar player. That is one line I won't cross. So, but I have pissed off a few companies that don't ever want anything to do with me. RJ the Mad One, thank you, brother. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support. Good dude right there, man. RJ tunes into just about every single one of these things, no matter what time I go live. Stevie's who taught me to sweep pick. I've seen a couple of his sweep picking videos. I can't wrap my brain around them. I've never been able to wrap my brain around sweep picking. That is a very, very difficult technique. I've never I've never been able to learn it, or I don't have the passion, or I don't have the patience for it, rather. So, let's see. Phil did own a guitar shop. Dave Palmer says they closed it down 2 years ago. I thought he did. He closed it. Memory serves, he closed it down because he was actually making more money on YouTube. So, okay. Pete does answer a lot of down-to-earth questions. Being a regular gigging musician, I get a lot from him, and he hits those nails on the head. I always hired people to care for my stuff. Yeah, he does, and I've actually hung out with him and asked him a few questions on his live stream before in the past as well. And he answers just about every question that shows up in that chat. He is very, very good about that. So you're right. He's and doesn't take any of them. As being, he's such a cool guy, man. I mean, he's just, regardless of who he is, or this, his name or his reputation, or his status in the music industry. I mean, he's he just seems to be a really, really cool guy. Bam Mozzie says, I can't imagine many people spending more than $2,000 on a PT15 amp. I still enjoy watching his show, though. I can't imagine a lot of people spending, $2,000 on most amps, or most people spending $2,000 on an amplifier. But, believe it or not, those guys are out there, and there are a lot of people out there that would spend $2,000 on an amp just because it's got Pete Thorne's name on it. Word is Philip McKnight is known to solicit vendors for channel contests. That's not unusual. Channel contest prizes, but I guess he ended up keeping the items. I don't know. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I mean, it's, if you're going to, I mean, you're in a, you don't get more in public than you do on YouTube. And, if you're going to swipe something from a company, putting your name, putting your face right there on, on a video, several times a week is probably not the best way to go about doing it. So, I know that there was a dust up between him and a pedal company 6 months or so ago, but I don't think that he's been keeping gear that he's not supposed to. So now there's I do know that he when he's talking to vendors about demoing gear, he's the way that he presents it, he presents it as far as compensation goes is, said, I'll either do it for X amount of dollars or I'll do it for X amount of dollars less the cost of whatever piece of gear it is that we're talking about, and I keep the gear. So, I do know that and a lot of YouTubers will do that as well. So, that X amount of dollars for a lot of those channels is pretty high. A lot of the smaller companies don't want to pay it. So, so they come to me and I'll do it for, a lot of times I've done a lot of them for free, just cause I know what it's like to be a startup. So, give me a minute to get caught up here, guys. Stevie T's Tree Man remix was pretty damn entertaining. He does a lot of stuff that's pretty entertaining. Only part of this for my own enjoyment. Let's see. RJ the Mad One says, when is the next Ask RGD episode going to be up? Tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? There's one that is set to go up. Hang on, I will tell you here in just a moment. Let's see. This one goes up. That one goes up tomorrow. The next Ask RGD episode will be up Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday morning. So, Wednesday morning, and honestly, that is actually the only video that I have uploaded for next week because I fell behind last week, and I've already hit a couple of snags of the videos that I've recorded this week. So just so you guys are aware, it is very likely, or very possible, I'm not going to say whether I think it's going to happen yet or not, but it is possible that there may be a day that you normally expect videos from me. There might not be anything. So just to let you guys know. So that matter of fact, as soon as this live stream is over, I'm going to work on. I've got to re-record a couple of things and et cetera, et cetera. So, I got a few YouTube headaches that I've got to deal with today. Boy, okay. And that dude's going back into timeout. J-Dog said, yeah, you cannot get away with swiping from a company. Exactly. They have your address, or at least an address that you have stuff shipped to at least. So, Robert A. said, who else is Googling gear as it's mentioned? Patrick Callie says, take care, Robert, off to the studio. Cool, man. Create something awesome today. Uh-oh. Jim's going to get his metal zone. Have fun, Jim. Enjoy it. How do I respond to others' comments with @ symbol? I think just like that. Cool. Hump day. Yep, exactly. Bam Ozzy says, I'm trying not to look at gear at the moment. I am in saving mode as I'm gassing for a guitar too. As am I. So, but there is also a couple of pedals that I really, really want. So, and one of them I can get for a really good deal. So, I may buy a couple of pedals here the next few weeks. Camila Cabello. I saw Stevie T's video on Camila Cabello miming on guitar. I'd teach Camila guitar any day, but only if she agrees to go metal like Lizzie Hale or Ash Costello. Lizzie Hale, whose signature Gibson Explorer is no more and now is being replaced with an Epiphone Explorer. I don't think that's anything on her. I think Gibson's doing most of their signature models in Epiphone form right now. Unless it's like, Slash. I remember Milli Vanilli got busted for lip syncing and it ruined his career. Now it seemed pretty much accepted and status quo. I don't know. It wasn't so much that they got busted for lip syncing. It's that they weren't the ones that were, they were lip syncing in live performances, of course. But the two hits off that album that were getting tons and tons of radio play wasn't the guys that you saw on stage. It was, completely fake. I'll never forget that, that screenshot, that video clip of them standing behind a podium giving their Grammy Awards back to the Grammy people, or whatever those folks are called. They're handing it back. They've got these real, sheepish, and, obviously humiliated looks on their faces. For obvious reasons, but I will never forget that. That was, I learned a lesson. Do not try to, don't try to fake it in the music industry, folks. You don't want to, it was one of those guys actually. I think ended up committing suicide. I think it was Fab. I don't. One was named Rob. The other was named Fab, and one of them's dead. I can't remember which one was which, but one of them killed himself. After, it was several years after that happened, but that it totally ruined his life. Bam Mozzie says, "Cool. What gear are you looking to get?" I am eyeballing as far as pedals anyway. I am eyeballing the Mooer Radar, which is their cab IR pedal, as well as the Digitech cab driver. So a couple of cab simulator pedals is what I want, and I have several needs for both. Particularly. The cab simulator pedals, particularly for recording stuff directly into in a Pro Tools or Studio One, sitting here at my desk, would be very, very handy. So, I want to get a Rev 3 pedals, but still a bit high on price. Yeah, I'd like one too, but man, they were giving those things out to YouTubers like water, but they wouldn't give one to me. So. John Taylor says the last pedal I bought was in 2000 or so. That's okay. We're not all pedal guys. We're not all pedal fanatics. That's okay. Okay. Michael D says Rob Pilatus is dead from Milli Vanilli. So Rob Pilatus is dead, and he OD'd, didn't kill himself, though he attempted suicide once before and was unsuccessful. Says, I wrote a case study on Milli Vanilli last year, so I did my homework. Okay. Mooer Black Truck. I don't know what that is. Oh yeah, that's that fly rig thing that they've got. Which actually looks pretty cool. Overdrive, high gain, EQ, modulation, and space, which I'm assuming is like delay and reverb. Yep, delay and or reverb. Modulation, phaser, tremolo, flanger. No chorus though. That sucks. That really sucks. There's no chorus. That's my favorite modulation. EQ, high gain with a noise gate. And overdrive and compression. Okay, it's got a compressor on there that doesn't look like it's switchable, but it's on there. It can be toggled on or off for what is listed at $269. Huh. Interesting. And an onboard tuner. Huh. That is a rather interesting piece of gear. You know, most of those fly rig things don't do much for me. But you know, really, what most of them are, there's just a bunch of pedals bolted together. But that one's actually pretty cool. That one may have my attention. Wow, this is fun. This Cyrillic name dude, keep putting this dude in timeout because every time he comes back into the chat, he asks something completely unrelated to anything we're talking about. My latest pedal is the Steel Panther Pussy Melter, of course. Number 885. How many of those do they make? 1,000 or something like that? They didn't make many. Now they've got, I think they've got a delay or something that they're getting ready to come out with. It may be out already. I'm not sure, but they need to do a more white truck for church groups. Fractal come out with a new the AX8. I think has actually been out for a while. The AX8 and the FX8 I think have both been out for a while now. You know, they're basically smaller. You know, I don't know if they're smaller, but you know, they're floor versions of the Axe-Fx is all they are. I've got a good buddy of mine named John Suki, and John has actually been featured in he's actually been the guitar player in a couple of Glenn Fricker's videos recently. So if you're not familiar with John, he's you need to go check him out because he's a monster guitar player, Kiesel artist, Mesa Boogie artist, and plays. He is one of the guitar players in the Chase Rice band. Matter of fact, I think they were on the Today Show or something here recently. You know, Chase Rice is a country artist, if you're not familiar with him. Anyway, the Poontang Boomerang, that's it. Yeah. But anyway, you know, John's actually been featured in, you know, he's played guitar in a couple of Glenn Fricker's videos recently. I saw one the first time a couple of weeks ago, and I actually left a comment that says, "Is that John Suki?" Because, you know, he didn't mention who he was. And because it sure looked like him. You know, his hair was kind of hanging down his face, so I wasn't positive if it was him. But, you know, Glenn said it absolutely was. Then the next video, one just last week, you know, Glenn actually said, "Here's John Suki demoing whatever it was that it was demoing, that video was talking about." Anyway, but John just recently, you know, because he's traveling all over the place, you know, literally all over the world with Chase Rice to play. And, you know, he was getting real tired of lugging around pedal boards and amps and all that kind of stuff. He just recently switched to an AX8, I believe, you know, for the road anyway, just because it has made his life so much easier. You know, and he's got all the sounds in it that he could possibly need. So, you know, and he's one of those guys that can snap off a tree branch and string it up and play it, and make it sound good. So, you know, finding good tones is not that difficult. It is not too tough for John. John Taylor says I would have taken that guy a little more serious if I wasn't just squishing garbage in a press. But yeah, the Poontang Boomerang is available for pre-order. It was like $200 or something like that. I think I saw. I can't justify $200, man. Yeah, it's tough for me to justify $200 for a delay pedal, especially one without a tap tempo on it. But collectability wise, though, that one could have some value. All those pedals could have some value to them down the road. I'm kind of upset that I missed out on the Pussy Melter, just because it actually is a pretty good sounding pedal. Oh well, maybe I'll catch the next one. Hey, Park Kingery's here with us. How are you, Park? Park sent me some photos this week of his latest efforts in the guitar world. And they look pretty cool. I think you guys are going to like them. He says I can make you one. Yeah, but, and I know you could. The problem, though, with you making one, though, is it's not, unfortunately, it would not be one of the limited run that came out. So, and I know that, the collectability and the limited edition thing, was part of the big allure to that, to that pedal. Turns out, yeah, there's a lot of people that are making money on those things right now. Let's check out Reverb real quick. Let's see what those things are bringing, just because I'm curious. Well, actually, they may have taken it. They may not. Yeah, they took them down. They're not allowed. That's right. Reverb got, they got a bug up there behind about stuff like that. I forgot about that. All right, let's check Evil Bay. There's somebody selling a fake one. Yeah, they're trying to. They got a clone for $185. None listed on eBay either, probably for the same reason. Well, I wonder if Guitar Center's got any used. Pardon me. Nope, they do not. Yeah, so well, I don't, I guess based on resale values, I mean, I can see where they would, where they would go up in value. The problem is there's no, there's no platforms that'll let you sell them based on the name. So that might be a tougher sell than initially expected. So yeah, yep, there was banned from Reverb as well. There's none on eBay either. So if people are selling them, I don't know where. Unless local Craigslist or something like that, I guess. But I don't know. Like I said, that I can see. Now that I think about it, just because they're not being able to have a forum to list them on, a global forum that is. It can make them a tough sell. Dale Palmer says I think that PC crap is bogus since they still sell Swollen Pickle, Way Huge, and others. So I agree. I saw Glenn's video on that, and I could not agree more. I think it was absolutely bogus, especially in the music industry, especially a rock distortion pedal. I mean that's Steel Panther has made a career out of parodying rock stars, so. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a joke. Stephen Doherty says the Prophet delay pedal is one of the best out there. For the money, I think you'd have a tough time. You're not going to get an argument out of me, especially for the price. I love mine. Yeah, Prophet delay was great. Prophet delay is a fantastic pedal. all I've been, you guys know because I've demoed several of them, but all those quote unquote smorgasbord pedals from TC Electronic, those budget pedals that they put out. I have been really, really impressed with. I think they've put out some really, really good products. I think really there's been a couple of them that I haven't been all that impressed with, but like the Sky Surfer, the Sky Surfer Reverb was, I thought was, the reviews that I read prior to demoing it myself, had all seemed to, really, really positive. I mean, I thought it was really okay. Kind of the same thing with the Afterglow Chorus. It was very okay, but I haven't tried the Grand Magus distortion, and there's several of them that I haven't tried. But the Tube Pilot was great. The Tube Pilot was awesome. All three of the delay pedals that I've done, the Prophet, the Echo Brain, and the Goss Echo, were all really good, with the exception of that modulation switch on the Goss Echo that didn't do anything. But beyond that, it was it was a good sounding pedal. Yeah, I really, really like that line of pedals. So, matter of fact, I have another one on the way that I'm going to be demoing very, very soon. As soon as it is available and starts shipping. I am not going to say which one it is, though. I want to keep that under wraps. S-Fear 6 says, "Did you try any of those Empress pedals?" The only Empress pedal I've ever gotten to play was the God, what was it? Now I can't remember the name of it. I did a demo of it a while back, about a year ago, year and a half ago. Man, I can't remember. It was a distortion overdrive kind of distortion overdrive fuzz kind of thing. It sounded really, really good. Man, that thing was killer. God, the only thing that I would change is there was a dip switch or something on the inside of it, because it had three different types of drive in it. Like I said, I think it was fuzz, overdrive, and delay, or something like that, or fuzz, overdrive, and distortion. And there was, the pedal is only able to, the switch is anywhere only able to accommodate two of those three. But you could do them in any order, but you had to open it up and go to the inside to decide which two you were going to, you wanted to use. So that would, having to stop. If you wanted the third one, you got to stop and open it up. That's the only thing that I found to be a drawback with it. But beyond that, it was fantastic sounding. The Heavy Empress, the Empress Heavy, as RJ is talking about right now. That's another one that I've had my eye on for a while. But those Empress pedals are not cheap. Those things are expensive. $300-400 a rip, for a distortion pedal. That's a lot of money for a distortion pedal, for my feeble means anyway. But the best heavy metal distortion though, still the Amp Tweaker Type Metal Pro. I haven't found one better than that one yet. Wazacraft Metal Zone was pretty awesome though. That one was close. I had sent a message to both Brian Wampler and Robert Keeley, because I wanted to get a hold of I wanted to do a shootout with the Metal Zone, the Wazacraft Metal Zone, the Type Metal Pro, and the the Keeley Filaments and the Wampler Dracaris, and I just wanted to do a shootout, not necessarily choosing a winner, but and I didn't think of the Empress Heavy at the time, though I probably should have included that. But I mean, those are like the top high-end, high-gain metal distortion pedals on the market right now, and I really wanted to do a shootout of those. And Brian Wampler seemed to be on board with it, and that it wasn't long. While that conversation was going on between me and him, he sounded okay with it. And he's a really, really nice guy. He's and we're basically, he lives in a small town outside of Indianapolis. So, we know a lot of the same people. A good friend of mine, Travis Fieser, actually used to work for him. And so, I've met him once or twice myself. Really, really nice guy. I never did hear back from Robert Keeley, and right around that time, I had actually also just done a demo of the Pinnacle Deluxe that went up, and the mix track that was on that video really kind of sucked. So that's when conversation just went real quiet at that point. So I'll bet probably what happened was he saw me, he saw my video of the Pinnacle Deluxe and hated it, and said, yeah, I'm not sending this guy a pedal. So, and honestly, that was probably the motivation for me to start learning, studio stuff and mixing and all that kind of stuff, so that I can get better at that and be able to market myself better to pedal companies. So, Amp Tweaker Type Metal Pro is an expensive dirt pedal. Yes, it is. That one's not cheap either. That one's the Type Metal is a little over $200. The Type Metal Pro, the big one that I have, that one's over. I think that one sells for like $320, $319, $320, depending on where you go. And that one's not cheap either. But man, is it worth it? That thing sounds just like an amplifier. It does not sound like a pedal at all. I love that pedal. S-Fear6 says, thank you for your video on stacking an overdrive distortion or vice versa. My pleasure. A lot of people actually came to me. I had coworkers that came up to me after that video and said, yeah, that was a pretty interesting video. I never thought to do it that way, but and I said which way. I asked several people, say you never thought to do it which way, and then they'd answer, and I got answers from both directions. I never thought to put overdrive after before, or I never thought to put it after whatever it was, and so people have a lot of people seem to have kind of been set on doing it one way, and that's the only way they've ever done it. So, yeah, that was an interesting video. John Taylor says, until my 2120 dies, I refuse to buy a new unit, but man, the new Air equipment sounds so much better. I'm so cheap. I don't know what a 2120 is. Unless maybe it's a typo for 5150? I'm not sure. Precision Drive is awesome. Precision Drive is that is a badass pedal. Misha had the right idea when he came up with that. I think that was his brainchild. I know they designed it. Horizon Devices designed it with him. That was his brainchild. And I remember seeing the demo for it when it was first announced. He was right. There's overdrive pedals all over the place, but there's no metal overdrives. At least not until that one came out. So. RJ the Mad One says, got Amp Tweaker Type Metal Pro used for 260 via reverb. It was hand signed by James Brown. Wow, that's pretty cool. I got mine used. I think I bought mine used on Guitar Center's website, a couple years ago, and I think I paid like 150, like under $150 for it. I think they had it. They had it listed as they had bought it in as a regular, as a standard Type Metal Pro. I'm assuming anyway. Either that or they weren't, they were afraid, if they priced it too high, they weren't going to get rid of it. I happened to see it and I snagged it. So, Digitech 2120. Yeah, I remember those. Would you try some pedals that are made locally in Asia, not particularly in China, which only available in their country and not shipped international? I'll try anything, but if they're not, Asia is not local to me, and if they're only available in their country and not shipped international, I don't know how I would get a hold of them. So, but yeah, I'm certainly open-minded to it, but at the moment, if those are the parameters, I don't know how that would work. So, Alrighty. We are at the 2 hour mark here, folks. I have got to get going. I've still got 2 videos to edit and a honeydew list on top of that, and all kinds of other stuff that I gotta untangle on top of that. So if you took the time to, if you were hung in here with me for this entire last 2 hours, I didn't intend for this to go that long, but if you hung in here with me this long, thank you very much for your support. I really, really do enjoy doing this. The reason why these things keep stretching out to 2 hours is because I enjoy myself sitting here hanging out with you guys so much. So, yeah. Park says, who's going to see Endgame? I'm not going until next weekend, so no spoilers. Yeah, again, thanks for hanging out. Whoops. Thanks for hanging out with me. And like I said, new video will be up tomorrow morning. So make sure and check that out. And next episode of Ask RGD will be up on Wednesday. And I'm going to work real hard to make sure and fill in the gaps here with some of this other stuff in the next coming week or so. Anyway, so yeah, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I know most of you probably already have. But thanks for joining me, guys. I will see you here very, very soon.